My friends, life responds not to what we beg for, but to what we embody. To act as if you have everything is not to pretend or to deceive. It is to align with the unseen reality that already exists within you. The world you walk in is but a shadow, a reflection of the inner picture you hold. If you would change the outer, you must first change the inner. So I invite you step into the end of your desire. See yourself there. Feel yourself there. Breathe the atmosphere of completion. Do not wait for evidence to give you permission to believe. Evidence will arrive only after you dare to assume. To live from fullness is to move with quiet assurance, to smile where others frown, to rest where others strive. For in the unseen, the harvest is already yours. When you walk as though you have everything, lack loses its grip. Fear dissolves. You no longer act from desperation, but from the calm certainty of possession. The mind may whisper doubts, but you need only return to the feeling, the inner knowing, that it is done. Persist even when appearances deny you. Persist even when the outer world mocks you. For appearances are but shadows, and shadows must obey the light. The light is your assumption glowing within you. So tonight act not as one seeking, but as one who has found. Carry yourself in the fullness of your desire. Let your speech, your tone, I already am, I already have, I already live in the abundance I seek. Imagination creates reality. These words may sound simple, yet within them lies the deepest mystery of life. Every experience you have ever encountered, every person you have drawn into your orbit, every circumstance, whether joyful or painful, first lived as an image, an impression, or an assumption within your own mind. The world you see with your eyes is not the cause of your life, but the mirror of it. To change the reflection, you must first change the vision that casts it. What you inwardly assume, whether consciously or unconsciously, must clothe itself in form. The mind is a womb and imagination is its seed. You may call it daydream, you may call it fantasy, but make no mistake. Imagination is the creative power behind all that is seen. The chair you sit on was once only a thought in the mind of its maker. The building that shelters you existed first in blueprint, which itself was born in the invisible realm of thought. If this is so for objects, why would it not also be true for the unfolding events of your life? When you assume something inwardly, you invite it into your world. A man who assumes himself poor, even if surrounded by opportunity, will continually experience lack. A woman who assumes herself unloved, even if others care deeply, will interpret every gesture as proof of rejection. But shift the inner assumption. Let them dare to imagine abundance, to feel the security of being loved, and the world outside must eventually rearrange itself to confirm the new state. Imagination does not ask whether what you assume is good or bad, wise or foolish. It is an impartial law, as certain as the rising of the sun. When you dwell on fear, you give fear a body. When you dwell on peace, peace walks beside you. The outer world bends itself to the inner world, for they are not two but one. If you would transform your life, begin not by struggling with circumstances, but by reimagining yourself. See yourself as the one you long to be and persist in that scene until it feels natural. Do not treat imagination as a game of make-believe. Treat it as the highest truth, for it is. What you inwardly accept as real will, in its appointed hour, reveal itself in the visible world. The great error of humanity is to think imagination is less real than the physical. Yet the opposite is true. The physical is but a shadow, imagination is the source. To ignore this truth is to live as a slave to appearances. To embrace it is to step into mastery of your own destiny. So tonight, close your eyes and enter the state of your fulfilled desire. Walk there in thought, speak there in feeling, rest there in certainty. Live from that place, not as if, but as already done. For imagination creates reality, and what you dare to assume within will one day surround you without. To live from the end is to place yourself inwardly at the destination of your desire, to occupy it so fully that the world has no choice but to yield it to you. Most of us live in the opposite way. We live from the middle, or from the lack. We wait for conditions to give us permission to feel secure, loved, prosperous, or free. But life is not waiting to deliver your desire, it is waiting for you to assume it. The law is simple. Whatever state you dwell in becomes your experience. Living from the end does not mean forcing circumstances, nor does it mean pretending in desperation. It means assuming the inner atmosphere of your fulfilled wish. Ask yourself, if it were already mine, how would I walk? How would I speak? How would I feel when I woke in the morning? How would I treat others? How would I treat myself? And then begin to live in those answers now. This way of being is not make-believe, it is creative belief. The world outside has no power except to mirror what you sustain within. The man who longs for abundance yet continually confesses his poverty is not living from the end but from the lack. The woman who desires love yet rehearses lowliness in her imagination is not living from the end but from the absence. But let them dare to feel rich, to feel cherished, to feel chosen, and the unseen forces of life will conspire to fulfill that inner picture. Living from the end is the art of resting in completion. You no longer beg, you no longer chase, you no longer seek validation, because you have already claimed it within. When you walk in this assurance, doors open without effort. People, events, and circumstances gather themselves as servants to the state you occupy. Do not confuse living from the end with passive waiting. It is not idle but alive. It is walking through the marketplace with the secret knowledge that you already possess what others strive for. It is smiling at obstacles because you know they are only shadows of an old state, fading away before the dawn of your new assumption. This practice requires faith, for the world will at times contradict your inner knowing. Appearances may scream, "Not yet," but you must remain faithful to the feeling already done. It is in this persistence that the law is fulfilled. The outer world has no choice but to bow to the conviction you carry within. So tonight, imagine yourself at the end of your journey. Picture the scene that would follow the realization of your desire and lose yourself in its joy. Hear the words of congratulations, feel the gratitude swelling in your chest, taste the sweetness of arrival. Then open your eyes and carry that inner satisfaction with you into every action. Every outer fact is born of an inner state. What you experience in the visible world is not random, nor is it dictated by chance or fate. It is the inevitable reflection of the state you most persistently occupy within yourself. Life does not answer your fleeting wishes or passing thoughts. It answers your abiding mood, your steady inner atmosphere. Think for a moment, two people can walk through the same city, down the same street, and live entirely different lives. One sees only danger, poverty, and rejection. The other sees opportunity, beauty, and kindness. What makes the difference? Not the city, but the state of consciousness each one carries into the world. The inner state precedes the outer fact. Your state is not merely what you think, but what you accept as true of yourself. It is the silent conviction you carry, the unseen lens through which you interpret every encounter. If you persist in the state of being unwanted, then even acts of affection will feel insincere. If you dwell in the state of abundance, then even small tokens will appear to you as wealth. Circumstances bend themselves to your assumption. This is why effort alone cannot sustain lasting change. A man may strive for success with all his might, but if inwardly he sees himself as a failure, his victories will be short-lived or hollow. A woman may long for love, but if she continually inhabits the state of loneliness, she will find ways to confirm it, even in the midst of relationships. The world cannot outrun your state. It can only echo it. So the true work is not to wrestle with facts, but to shift states. Do not ask, "How can I change this circumstance?" Ask instead, "What state am I creating it from?" For when the inner shifts, the outer must follow. You cannot remain in the state of joy and continue to attract despair. You cannot abide in confidence and still manifest humiliation. The outer world is the servant, not the master. The secret, then, is persistence. A momentary assumption is not enough, for the old state may return if you fall back into it. But persist in your new inner reality. Hold to it when appearances deny it. Return to it when doubts creep in, and soon it will harden into fact. Every circumstance you face is clay, and your state is the mold. So tonight choose deliberately. What state will you occupy? Will you live in fear, or will you abide in faith? Will you persist in lack, or will you dwell in abundance? Remember, life does not give you what you want, it gives you what you are. Therefore, become within the very thing you seek without. Clothe yourself in the state of fulfillment, walk in its feeling, and persist until the world conforms. For the outer world is but a shadow, and the shadow cannot help but follow the form that casts it. Feeling is the secret door. Thought alone, without feeling, remains a shadow. Words repeated without emotion are but empty echoes. It is the feeling you wrap around an idea that breathes life into it, giving it power to take form in the world. The heart is the key that unlocks the unseen. Consider this: you may declare, "I am worthy," 1,000 times, but if you secretly feel poor, life will answer not to your words but to your feeling. You may whisper, "I am loved," until your lips are dry, but if you inwardly feel unwanted, circumstances will continue to reflect that state. For the universe is not persuaded by language, it is moved by vibration, by the emotional atmosphere you dwell in. To embody abundance, you must dwell not in the thought of having it, but in the feeling of already possessing it. Ask yourself, if my desire were fulfilled now, how would I feel? Would it be relief? Would it be joy? Would it be peace? Would it be gratitude? Then take that feeling and wear it like a garment. Let it color your breath, your step, your gaze, your entire being. This is not pretense. It is creation. Feeling is the bridge between invisible and the visible. The world is clay and feeling is the sculptor's hand. Hold fast to the emotion of fulfillment, and circumstances must bend to confirm it. Notice how easily the mind drifts back to old emotions, fear, doubt, and longing. Yet even here lies a secret. Longing itself is a signal that you are imagining separation from what you want. Replace longing with gratitude. Replace waiting with relief. Feel the desire is accomplished, and the longing dissolves. What remains is fulfillment, and fulfillment always finds its expression. Do not wait for evidence to give you permission to feel. Evidence comes after, not before. You are not reacting to life, you are instructing it. When you feel the joy of already being there, already having it, already living it, you open the door for that reality to enter. The challenge is persistence. One moment of feeling may open the door, but repeated moments create a dwelling place. Choose again and again to return to the atmosphere of your fulfilled wish. When doubt creeps in, gently redirect yourself to the feeling of already done. Each time you do, you reinforce the state until it becomes your natural home. So tonight, instead of wishing, enter into the mood of fulfillment. Imagine the conversation you would have if your dream were realized. Hear the tone of congratulations. Sense the quiet satisfaction that rests in your chest. Let your body relax as though the struggle were over. For the secret door is already open. It opens the instant you feel the end. Step through it now. And as you do, the world will rearrange itself to reflect the inner abundance you dared to embody. Silent confidence is the fragrance of true belief. When you know within yourself that your desire is already yours, there is no more chasing, no more pleading, no more frantic striving. You rest, not in passivity, but in assurance. Just as a seed does not labor to become a tree, so your fulfilled state unfolds without strain once you accept it as done. Most people exhaust themselves because they live from the sense of not having. They chase opportunities, they grasp at relationships, they cling to appearances, always hoping to secure what they believe is missing. But this very sense of lack keeps them bound to the cycle of searching. To truly believe you have everything is to step off that wheel. You do not chase, you attract. You do not beg, you allow. Silent confidence is not arrogance, nor is it indifference. It is the calm assurance of possession. Consider the one who carries great wealth in their account. They do not boast or argue with the world about being rich. Their actions flow naturally from their inner security. In the same way, when you inwardly know you are loved, you no longer demand proof from others. When you inwardly know you are prosperous, you no longer scramble to seize every opportunity. The knowing itself becomes the magnet, drawing to you the forms that match your inner reality. This silence is powerful because it signals completion. Noise belongs to the seeker, but rest belongs to the one who has found. When you live in the end, when you feel the desire already fulfilled, there is nothing left to prove. Your words grow gentle, your movements unhurried, your presence radiant. It is here that faith matures. To hold fast to your assumption without the need for constant outward confirmation is the essence of mastery. Appearances may still whisper the old story, but you do not tremble. You wait not in anxiety, but in certainty. Just as a farmer rests after sowing seed, knowing the harvest is inevitable, you too rest in the assurance of your fulfilled desire. Silent confidence does not mean inactivity. Life will still call you to act, but your actions will be guided, graceful, and free from desperation. You will move because you are led, not because you are lacking. Every step you take will be infused with ease, because you walk in the atmosphere of already being complete. So tonight, dare to rest in silent confidence. Stop rehearsing the questions of how and when. Stop measuring signs to decide whether to believe. Instead, sink into the certainty of possession. Whisper only to yourself, it is done. It is mine. I already am. And in that silence, the world begins to move. Circumstances rearrange, people appear, doors open, not because you chased them, but because you dared to rest. Silent confidence is the final seal of faith, and it is from this place of rest that all things are delivered. My friends, we have seen that imagination is the birthplace of reality, that to live from the end is to walk already fulfilled, that our inner state always precedes the outer fact, that feeling is the secret door through which all things are made manifest, that persistence in faith shapes destiny, And that silent confidence is the crown of fulfillment. Life is not something happening to you, it is something happening to you. What you dare to assume within, you will one day behold without. Carry this truth not as theory, but as practice. Each day, clothe yourself in the end. Dwell in the feeling of already complete, persist when the world denies you, and rest in the silent confidence that all is accomplished. Do not wait for signs, be the sign. Do not wait for proof, live as proof. And soon, the outer world will reflect the inner conviction you dared to embody. So let us walk forward no longer as seekers, but as finders. No longer as beggars, but as creators. For truly, you already have everything. If only you dare to live as though it was so. Closing thanks, thank you for lending me your time, your presence, and your open heart. May you carry these words not as echoes, but as living truth. And may your life, from this day forward, reveal the abundance you already are.